So in today's video, we're doing something a little bit different. Rather than talking about Fortnite skins, we actually be ranking all the Fortnite map locations. For this video, we're just doing the map locations that actually have names, no unnamed locations. This has been requested for a really long time, and I've been trying to get to this point where I can rank other stuff in Fortnite besides skins. So we're finally here. I feel like, 30,000 subscribers. Most of you guys seem to be kind of, wanting more than just skin ranking videos. So real quick before the video gets started, a few things I want to say is, first of all, my supported creator code is ChrisYouTube, one word. It is in the bottom left corner. Go ahead and use my code in the item shop if you want to. If you do use it, please tell me either in the comments down below. You can tweet me a picture, you can join my Discord, the link to that is in the description, and you can just send a picture in there or even DM me if you really want to. Also, I am sponsored by Control Freaks. I use Control Freaks every single time I play a console game, whether it's Fortnite, Call of Duty, or even Madden. Control Freaks are basically performance thumbsticks you put on your controller grips. They work for any console, whether it's Xbox, PlayStation, even Nintendo Switch. I definitely recommend them. They're only like $15, and with my code Chris, you get 10% off your entire order. So same thing applies as if you use my supported creator code. Please tell me if you use my code Chris for 10% off Control Freaks. All my social medias are in the description and on the screen, rotating throughout the whole video. So now with all that out of the way, we can get to the actual video. And as I said, we have 21 ranked locations. All the named locations, as I said, all 21 of them, which is actually crazy. I did not realize there was 21 named locations, but there is. And 21st, or the worst one in my opinion, is going to be Junk Junction. I feel like this is pretty obvious. It's literally in the top left corner of the map. There's not really any loot. Like, there's a couple chests, but by the time you get all of them, like, you're just in the top left corner of the map. Rarely are you ever in the circle, like when you go to Junk Junction, and most of the time it's not even really up in that corner. It's just a really bad place to land, and the loot's only good really if you're solo, and even then, only a couple of chests. You're probably not going to get that good of weapons. It's just not a good idea. Now, number 20, we have Lonely Lodge. Pretty similar reasoning here. It's just really far out on the map, not a ton of chests, a little bit more than Junk Junction, but still not a lot here. Now, number 19, we have Tomato Temple, which honestly, you could even make the argument that this is worse than the previous two. Yes, Tomato Town was definitely the worst name location we've ever had, and Tomato Temple is a little bit better, and it was really cool when it first came in the game. I was really hyped for it. It was super cool. The idea of it was sick. They had the whole skin to match with it and all that, and then they never really did anything else with it. Like, it just never really became anything more, and I don't think I've landed there this whole season, to be completely honest. Like, I don't think I have. I don't plan on it either way. It's really bad. The loot, it's a little bit better than what it used to be, but still, that's not really saying a lot considering what it used to be. Now, number 18, we have Dusty Divot. Dusty Divot, I don't know why they haven't changed it yet or just done something else with it. The meteor happened in season 3, or was that season 4? That was season 4. The meteor happened, and that has, that was a long time ago. It's almost been a year since the meteor actually struck down. That's crazy. In a few months, it'll be a year. I think that happened in March or April. So we're pushing a year on Dusty Divot, and it's just really not that cool anymore. Obviously it was cool at first when the whole meteor hit and all that, but now it's just like, okay, yeah, it's a big crater in the map. Can we get this patched up or just put something over top of it or something? Honestly, I mean, it's pretty ridiculous that they haven't done anything with it yet, and it's just a really bad spot overall to land. Number 17 is Haunted Hills, basically right below Junk Junction. I actually think Haunted Hills is a little bit underrated. Still, obviously not a top 10, map location to land at, but it's not terrible. We're starting to get into some better spots here. Haunted Hills, you do get a decent amount of loot. I do go there from time to time. You can, if you end up getting all the chests, you can get a decent amount of loot, and depending what your rotation patterns are and stuff, you can end up getting, pretty well off. Still really far away from the center of the map though, and generally just not a good place to land in solos. Number 16, we have Snobby Stores. I used to love Snobby Stores. Like, back when it was first new and all that, I used to love it. It was my favorite place to land. It wasn't super contested most of the time, but you would still get gunfights, and now it's just completely dead. I went there on stream a few days ago, and no one landed there. I even did it in a video too, and just no one goes there anymore, and you can see why. Like, there's a couple quad crashers that spawn there, but still, it's on the complete edge of the map. Yeah, at least it's more centered with the map, and it's not in the corner, but still just not a very good place to go. Number 15 is Wailing Woods, which Wailing Woods really isn't that terrible anymore. Obviously back in the day it was really bad, but since they've changed the map and there's a whole underground, I guess, I don't even know what to call it, underground base down there, it's a little bit better. The bunker makes it better. There is a rift, so you can get out of there whenever you get all the loot, so that does make it a little bit better. Still, Wailing Woods just not a top 10 location, but it's gotten better, okay? Number 14 is Lucky Landing. I actually like Lucky Landing a lot. It just looks really cool, and it's just completely different than any other landing spot in the game, but still, you complete just bottom of the map. Loot wise, you can end up getting a lot, to be completely honest, especially if you're in solos, even duos. If you get all the buildings, you can end up with a decent amount. Then you just go straight up through the map. You realistically can get to the circle, just because it's literally the bottom center of the map. But still, just the fact that it's at the bottom of the map makes it a little bit longer, and I don't think vehicles really spawn there that often. I don't think any vehicles spawn in Lucky Landing except for the go-karts used to, but I don't know if they do anymore. Number 13 is going to be Lazy Links. Honestly, Lazy Links, this might be a little bit too high for this, but whatever, I'm not going to change it now. At the complete top of the map, really just pretty much adjacent, I think I used that right, with Lucky Landing, except it's at the top of the map instead of the bottom. And they're actually pretty similar. Lucky Landing, low-key, has better loot now that I think about it, but Lazy Links always has vehicles and stuff that you can get, so it's just a little bit better in that perspective, but still, not necessarily an amazing location to go. Number 12 is an interesting one. We have the block. The reason I put this here just right in the middle is because the block isn't necessarily bad, but isn't good. Like, it really varies. It's hard to say the block is a good or a bad location because it literally changes every week. So I just put right in the middle. I like the block. The idea of it's really cool and I love it, but it's just so inconsistent and just really, it changes every single week. So it's really hard to say that it's good or bad, but so I love the idea of it. I'm glad they put it in the game. Number 11 is a underrated location, at least in my opinion, but it's going to be Happy Hamlet. I think it's very underrated. I go here from time to time. Yes, it's a hike away from like the rest of the map, and it's pretty far out, which is why ding some of the other locations, but you can get a ton of loot from Happy Hamlet, and there's always quad crashers there with the little, they're like attached to like the trucks with the little wooden wagons. There's always quad crashers there, so you can always just get out of there really fast if you need to, and that's usually what I do, so that's why it's at number 11. Number 10 is Polar Peak. Every week, Polar Peak gets better and better just because, obviously more of the castle melts and that stuff. Originally, when it was in the game, it was a terrible place to land. Just no really any chest there. Like only one little bit of the castle was there, which is not a good place to be. But now we have the full castle, lots of chests, lots of places to go, and obviously just a very cool idea, the fact that it's literally a melting castle. Number 9 is Frosty Flights. I actually like this place a lot. Some people might not like it just because it is pretty far out on the map, but there's always planes there, always at least 3, and there's even usually 2 more in the hangars, so you can always get out of there really fast. And with the whole towers and buildings and just the bunkers, there is a lot of chests and a lot of loot. I actually land here quite a bit, and it is pretty good. From experience, it is a pretty good place to go. And once again, you get all the loot you can, and then right before the circle gets there, just take a plane and go. It's a pretty good strategy. Honestly, Frosty Flights is really good. Honestly, Frosty Flights is definitely better than the next location. I don't even know why I put this place so high, but at number 8, we have Loot Lake. I guess it's pretty center, in the map. It's almost exactly center in the map, actually. It's pretty close to it, but, obviously Loot Lake is better than what it used to be. Before it was just the house in the middle and there just wasn't really a whole lot of chests there. Obviously more now, and it's not as annoying because there isn't as much water, but still, I just don't really like Loot Lake. I never have, never will, to be completely honest. I'm looking forward to if they ever remove it from the game, because that'll be great. Number 7, and this place has a special place in my heart, but it is going to be Shifty Shafts. The reason I like Shifty Shafts so much is because that is where my infamous intro, which is actually funny because I don't even use it anymore, but my intro where I said, "Hello everyone, my name is Chris," and it was like the little fireworks leader waving and all that room was in Shifty Shafts in one of the houses there. But Shifty Shafts is actually a pretty good place to land. Yeah, the loot is a little bit sparse, but still, you can get enough loot where you can just go around. If you get a shotgun, you just tear it up, kill the people, get their loot, and end up getting all the chests and like the little 2 houses right there. And then your rotation, you can go to Tilted, you can go really just anywhere in the center of the map. Honestly, Shifty Shafts is a little bit underrated, to be completely honest. Now, number 6, we have Paradise Palms. I wanted to put this place higher, but I feel like since it's kind of far out in the corner, it's harder to. Yes, there is rifts to go from one place to another, obviously, and there's a ton of vehicles that spawn there, so I guess it kind of evens out, to be honest. Paradise Palms is a very good place to go. Tons of loot, tons of buildings, usually not that contested either, which is crazy. I remember back in Season 5 when it first started and Paradise Palms was first introduced, that's where everyone was going, and it was crazy, but yeah, Paradise Palms is overall a good place to land. Now we're in the top 5. We got number 5, Fatal Fields. I like Fatal Fields a lot. I used to hate the farms, but now I've actually become a fan of them. Decent amount of loot now. Fatal Fields, I don't know if they buffed it or what. Actually, I know they did. The red barn they buffed, because there's like 3 chests in there now, which is great. Honestly, it's pretty close to the center of the map. You get a decent amount of loot. If you're not super into gunfights, there usually aren't a ton of gunfights there, which is great. So you can just get your loot, get to the center of the map or whatever the center of the circle is, and then just start killing people with all your loot. So Fatal Fields, pretty underrated as well. Number 4, we have good old Salty Springs. I feel like this is a classic place. It's been in the game since the beginning. It's really simple. It's just a small little neighborhood, pretty close to the center of the map. Can't really get much more easier than that. It is typically pretty popular though. Like, you will always have at least one person in Salty Springs with you. It would be crazy if you had Salty Springs to yourself at the beginning of a game. Now, number 3, we have Pleasant Park. Yeah, it is kind of up in the top left corner, but there's so many houses that I had to put it in the top 3. There's so many just loot opportunities, and it is decently popular, so you can get some kills right away. And yes, there's zip lines and all that stuff. So realistically, mobility isn't really an issue for Pleasant Park, unless the circle is like down in Paradise or just around there. But still, the first circle, it should be pretty easy to get from one place to another. Pleasant Park, so many chests, so many opportunities to get even like a rift to go or something. So realistically, Pleasant Park is a pretty good place to land. Number 2, this is where some controversy might start, but that's okay. Number 2, I am going to put Tilted Towers, which is crazy because I think out of all the named locations it has the most chests, which is crazy to say that, oh, it's number 2 then, but I feel like sometimes it's just too crazy and too much. You know, really you have to be a pretty skilled player to go to Tilted and be the last survivor. Like realistically, how often does that happen? Unless you're like a pro player or just really good at the game, probably doesn't happen every time for you. I know it doesn't happen every time for me, which is why it's at number 2. As I said, great opportunity for loot and all that stuff. And maybe if you just go into Tilted, grab the loot and go, then you're good. But typically that just doesn't happen. You want to play aggressive if you're landing Tilted. But still, at number 1, the location I think is the best place to land in Fortnite, no matter what the situation is going to be Retail Row. The reason for this is there's so many loot opportunities with the blacktop stores and even the houses. There's so many different chests you can get. It's pretty spread out and it is decently close to the middle of the circle. So unless the circle is super far left, you're pretty much going to be in it every time at retail. And even then, you can just walk and run. It really isn't all that far. There's zip lines. There's a few planes that spawn nearby. So realistically, retail, in my personal opinion, is the best place to land. Once again, this is all just my opinion. You guys can feel free to disagree in the comments down below if you do choose so. But that is going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, taking a break from just the skin rankings and ranking other stuff in Fortnite. If you guys want more Fortnite ranking videos, go ahead and subscribe and press the like button down below. I really would appreciate it. Once again, all my social medias are in the description. Go ahead and follow me. I really would appreciate it. My creator code is ChrisYouTube, one word. You can use code Chris for 10% off all Control Freak products. The entire order. I have merch. I always forget to plug the merch, but I do have merch. It should be popping up either in the description or I think like if you scroll down in the video, there's like a little tab. I don't even know. But that's gonna be it for this video. So once again, as I said earlier, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Subscribe if you haven't already, and goodbye.